Okay, hi guys. I only have so much time to tell you this, so listen up, okay? Alright, I'm not even supposed to be telling you this, so if I'm caught, I'm probably gonna get executed on the spot. So if I don't upload after this, you know what happened. Okay, so a lot of you don't know about this, but there is an organization out there called the SCP. I'm a part of it. I'm a part of SCP Team 7. My agent name is Legend. Okay, so what the SCP is, I can only compare it to the X-Files, except not really. Basically what we do is we secure, contain, and protect objects and beings that are unnatural or have some sort of power or unnatural entity about them. Basically, we capture the things that you don't know about. Okay? And no, we're not talking about Bigfoot. We're not crazy. Trust me. I wish we were capturing Bigfoot. Okay. The only reason I'm telling you this is because you need to know this to survive. And, well, let's be honest. The life of an SCP agent isn't very long. We're either terminated for knowing too much, or killed by some ungodly creature that we didn't even know existed. Anyway. So, there are certain things you need to know. Because everyone has an encounter with an SCP object sooner or later in their life. So, let's start off with the security clearance levels. These are the levels of clearance that you'll need to get inside or infiltrate SCP bases or operations. Well, there's no really any good level to try to masquerade as, so let's just go over them all. Level 0, Standard Operating Personnel. Personnel at this level are not permitted any contact with an SCP object. Breach of this protocol will result in termination of the personnel involved. In other words, if you're trying to act like you're level 0, don't come in contact with any SCP object, or you will be shot in the face immediately. Okay, level 1 personnel. Standard security clearance level for staff involved in the maintenance of an SCP object. Level 1 clearance is usually appended with the SCP object that the personnel has clearance for. Ergo, if you have clearance for object 173, your clearance number will be 1/173. Level 2 clearance. Level 2 clearance level for staff involved in overseeing an SCP object appended with the SCP object that the personnel has clearance for, separated by a dash for clearance with multiple SCP objects. I know that sounds confusing, but all it means is basically your number and then a slash all the SCP object numbers that you have clearance for. So like, say you're agent number 2, or no, say you have a clearance level number 2, so you have 2, and then say you're tasked with 173 and then 847 and then 423. You would have your clearance level, which is level 2, and then the number of those SCP objects, /173-847-423. You see where I'm going with this? I know it sounds confusing, but just bear with me. I don't have much time. They'll probably find out where I'm at soon. Okay, level 3. All general security staff for Site 19 and any other site housing an SCP object are required to have this level of clearance and are permitted access to all non-Keter level SCP objects. And we'll get to the object level in a minute. Okay. Level 4. Command level personnel. Permitted to all non-Keter object level SCPs, no matter what. So these are basically the big guys of all non-Keters. Level 5. The highest ranking senior staff. Most personnel at this clearance level are overseers. Yeah. Certain members of the senior staff have been given level 5 clearance due to the sheer amount of needed work with repetitive Keter level objects. Note though, the security clearance structure is independent of any other military structure. Ergo, just because even if you're a general in the regular military, that didn't get you nowhere in the SCP. So don't go waving around your little military badge or your little boot camp training badge just because you think you got something. No, they will terminate you immediately, no matter what your level is in the regular military archives. Okay, now there is a different substructure of the SCP structure class. These are the D class, E class, and the O5X class. Now, D class is where you don't want to be. D class personnel are designated staff used to handle Q level objects. Warning, D class personnel are not permitted interaction with Class D personnel assigned to different objects. D class personnel are recruited from prison inmates. Condemned inmates are preferred. In other words, death row. In times of duress, Protocol 12 can be authorized, allowing recruitment of innocents or personnel incarcerated for lesser crimes. In other words, that could be your family or friends being joined as a D class, and you'll find out why that's not good in a minute. That's why I'm telling you this. Okay, all Class D personnel are to be terminated at the first of the month, and new staff must be ready to replace them. In other words, every 31 days, all D class personnel are shot and replaced. You see what I mean? After placement in quarters, staff must only contact Class D personnel through intercom systems. All Class D personnel are to be given a minimum of 1 polygraph test at 1,800 hours on a daily basis. Failure to comply or failure to pass the test will result in immediate termination, regardless of anything. Nothing can stop that. This is to stop people from infiltrating the SCP. Okay. Class D personnel. Oh, wait. Okay. E-class personnel, temporarily affixed with the start of a security clearance, e.g. E1. This is used when a new SCP object has been discovered, but is still in unsecure or uncontrolled state. E-class personnel are tasked with bringing the SCP object in effect and maintaining it. Once the SCP objects are placed and the object is secure, the E is removed from the personnel, are given the appropriate number at the end of their clearance. In other words, you are assigned to bag and tag a new object that hasn't been named yet. So you do it, and since you were going in contact with it, you're responsible for its upkeep and maintainment. And say you're a clearance level 2 when this happens, you drop the E, get clearance level 2, and then the number of whatever the SCP object is. Okay, now for the last clearance level, the O5X's. Overseer level clearance is given only to the directors of the SCP Foundation. The X indicates the number, ranging from 1 to 13. Example, O5-7. O5 personnel are permitted to access any and all data related to the SCP objects. However, due to the sensitive nature of their position, O5 personnel are not permitted to have any direct contact with an SCP object, nor may they enter the site housing an SCP object under any circumstances. In other words, if you're trying to masquerade as an O5 personnel, just make sure you don't come into contact with any SCP object, or your cover will be blown and you will be shot in the face. But I have to give it to you. If you can masquerade as an O5, you've got some real balls. Next up is the SCP object class. This is a bit more interesting. No more people involved. Anyway, SCP objects are cut into 3 main classes, but there are 2 more classes that I'll talk about later. Or 3 more. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to those. They're boring. Okay, the first object class is safe. The designation safe is assigned to subjects or objects that may be effectively and reliably contained. Safe designation may have involved containment procedures, but these procedures are not expected to fail frequently, or the subject to later revisions as more information obtained about the subject. In other words, safe isn't permanent. Some safe designations are human, humanoid, and are sentinel. To prevent injury or death of personnel in SCP, interactions with such designated should be professional and courteous, taking into account special conditions, special containment procedures. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to hurry through this. I don't know how much longer they'll be. It should be noted that safe does not indicate the containment procedures are unnecessary. Many safe designated objects can be quite dangerous in the right context. The important distinction that defines a safe object is that it can be handled safely with appropriate containment procedures. An example of a safe object would be an AK-47, a nuclear weapon, or a polynom. What's this mean? It means that, yeah, an AK-47 can kill people, sure, but the trigger has to be pulled first. In other words, it's safe unless something acts upon it. That doesn't mean completely harmless, people. Just remember that. Okay, next up is Euclid. An SCP object is classified as Euclid when its behavior cannot be unerringly predicted, either because the item is sentient, it behaves outside of current scientific knowledge, or its nature is simply poorly understood at present. Euclid-class objects do not pose the same existential threat to humanity due to containment breach that Keter object class do, but they still generally require more diligence to keep contained than safe objects. In other words, this is the medium between safe and Keter. The reason they're Euclid is because we don't really understand them yet. So Euclid objects aren't particularly friendly, but not likely that they're going to be blowing up the world anytime soon. Although many Euclid class objects can be used to benefit Foundation or humanity, they may have unforeseen ramifications after the use due to their unpredictable nature. Some Euclid-class SCPs are eventually understood through and to be reclassified as safe, but most remain indestructible, even to the most rigorous of experiments. Who fancy. Next and last up is the Keter class. This is the class that you don't want to fuck with. I'll explain why. The designation Keter is assigned to subjects that both A. display vigorous, active hostility to human life, civilization, and/or space-time, and B. are capable of using significant destruction in the event of containment breach. Ooh. Such subjects must be categorized, contained according to the special containment processes, and destroyed if possible. And let me tell you, when a Keter containment breach is activated, it's not fun for anyone. Trust me, I've broken several bones trying to get Project 682 back into its cell when it broke out. I had to hold it from the neck for 25 minutes as it death rolled while I was waiting for a strike team to come inbound and put it back in its cell. It's not fun. Merely being immiscible to human life is not itself cause for classification as a Keter object. A Keter classification indicates that it not only has this subject capable of inflicting devastating harm to human life and civilization, but the containment protocol must be extensive, involved, and precisely followed in order to prevent it from doing so. Research into neutralization of Keter class objects is always top priority for the Foundation. So, there you go. Oh, a little side note, Keter means crown in Hebrew, the uppermost level of the Sumerian and Jewish Kabbalah. So there you have it. Those are the classes of the SCP, both security and object classes. Next time I get to upload, I will be explaining what the SCP actually does, and Here he is! I gotta go, guys. Bye.